these four talented musicians together to explore the elements of creativity, skill, career tips, and challenges.
what inspired you to become a musician? Can we take it back that far?
That's like older than dirt. Probably, you know, the Beatles, the Stones, all that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I started playing probably in '64, '65, and just kept doing it. Just loved to do it. You know, it was great. The people I met. You know, it was just a real fun thing for me. So I just kept, you know, I kept doing it. I started playing when I was in grammar school, but you know, when I got into high school, it was back into sports, and then by the time high school ended, music was really getting big, and I thought I'd like to be a part of it, and it worked out great. I played around town locally with a piano player from here named Roger Smith, who's currently signed to JVC, and he's got one record out now, and he's planning on another one, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then just playing with the guys around Sacramento. You know, when I came up here, I wasn't sure what I'd find as far as musicians, and I ran into, you know, all these guys you see in front of you now, and some other guys, and it's been great.
You've had the opportunity to play a wide variety of styles of music. I mean, you're on call all the time. I mean, I don't know how many different places I've seen you playing, and you fit in perfectly. I think it's great.
I'm a chameleon.
No, that's great.
No, I wanted to play French horn. I wanted to play orchestral music. That's we heard a lot of it at home. My mother would always have that kind of radio station on, or those kinds of records would be playing. And I kind of fell in love with classical music, and I wanted to play that. And we started out, I wanted to play French horn, but then that instrument is so difficult that, you know, I mean, I knew what end to blow, but I couldn't make any, you know, pleasing sounds out of it. It just made no sense. And there were these big shiny tubas in the band teacher's office. And I said, well, okay, I'll try one of those, because there's no bottom happening in the beginning band. And then, so I started playing tuba, and then, I don't know, in the late 60s or mid-60s, and I was hearing Motown music on the radio, and I could hear the bass parts, and it just was very fun, and I wanted to play that. And that's when I started playing one of these.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And the rest is history.
Do you feel like these other responsibilities in your life provide an edge that makes your music time more precious to you?
I spend an awful lot of time playing music. Now, those are like 2 or 3 separate questions. Yeah, it probably provides an edge.
Yeah.
But an edge I'd rather not have. I would, my first priority is my family.
Yeah.
So that is the thing that probably takes an awful lot of time. So, I spend a lot of time playing music, and probably most of my time is devoted to being on the telephone and doing business stuff to further the music.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I wish I had all the time to devote to writing music, practicing. Well, teaching is always real good. I've had a couple of students here, and I think they will know who they are, who have actually helped me tremendously in terms of just continuously asking questions and not being afraid how dumb the questions might be. I mean, just like, look, I don't know anything, tell me how to do it. And it forces you as a musician to go back to the real bottom level basics. And that always helps, because very often, when you learn things and when you're learning something, there are tools required to do anything. Missing pieces, nooks and crannies, we forget. Or we just take kind of for granted that we know how to do these things. So then we have to explain it. Sometimes we have to actually go back and go, well, how is it that I do that? Or do I do that? And why don't I do that? And is it necessary to? So it's been tremendously helpful. And the human interaction is always great. Not just teaching a one-on-one student, but what's very exciting is actually teaching a classroom full of people and actually controlling groups of people, which is something that I haven't had to do other than my bands, and I've been very unsuccessful in doing that.
Come on. Working here at Colton, what have you learned from working at Colton and teaching? How has it helped you? The first thing that comes to mind is, like what Henry said, it forces you to kind of rethink skills that you've developed over the years and that you just take for granted. They're there. Almost like your ability to speak English, you just do it and it happens and you don't think about the mechanics of it. And it really caused me to take all the information that I've gathered through years of playing and kind of catalog it, and you know, the skill of breaking it down and making it digestible to someone just encountering whatever that particular topic is. That's very useful. I do practice, I don't have time to do it nearly as much as I would like to, you know, between making a living and just living life, and I have 3 children, all that just eats up so much of your time that there's very little left for practicing. But I, like Eric said, I try to have the thing in my hands every day. On a human level, just music is medicine. It really is, and to see what it does in people's lives, how it affects them positively, there's something you get from it you just can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
B minor? What is it? B minor? Is it A? C? G? F? C? Whole tune.
see popular or contemporary music heading? Do you think technology is going to make that much difference in the future? I mean,
It'll make some, but to me that brings up the whole idea of what's technology, you know, and as soon as you get away from beating two rocks together and you know, and screaming in the forest, you're into technology.
That's right.
As soon as you make any instrument, that's technology, you know, and it kind of bothers me. It has bothered me. People say, or they say like the electric bass, which is a relatively recent, you know, or just electric guitars, you know, like it isn't. They say to me, "Oh, that's not a real bass," because it's not a stand-up acoustic bass. Well, you know, like there's too much technology, you know. The string bass is already a certain kind of technology. So where do you draw the line in technology? Technology is a tool that people can use. You know? Either you use a tool right, or you use it to good effect, or you don't, you know, or you keep hitting yourself on the thumb with your hammer.
I mean, you get computers and this kind of stuff, and they want to create the illusion that you can create great music, all you need is this.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the fact is, what you still have to do is you still have to practice. You still have to learn the nuts and bolts of music.
Right.
I see a definite, you know, delineation point generationally between those of us who came up musically pre-technology, speaking specifically of the computer sequencer, sampler, MIDI, of that technology. We didn't have that. We had to learn how to play.
Right.
And so all of us have probably used those technological tools to varying degrees, but they weren't part and parcel of our musicianship or our development, whereas people who have come up since that technology was available, you know, like a lot of hip-hop and rap producers and that, they don't play anything. They take other things and they do cut and paste. They do kind of a decoupage, which is valid, but, you know, they're not really creating something. They're taking what has already been done and kind of rearranging it into a new thing. So I definitely see a, you know, a line between those two generations.
Erik and I went out to some club, the Great Northern or something, and we listened to some top 40 band, and there was this drummer, or this guy, Sterling? I can't remember who it was. Anyway, he had created the drum machine. This is before I had ever heard anything about a drum machine. You know, this is in the 70s, actually. And it just pissed me off. I just could not believe that anyone was going to, you know, he was saying, this is great, we can replace all those drummers, you know. And I just thought it was the worst
We have a comment from Claude.
Wait a minute. How much you get a drum machine that shows up late and tells bad jokes?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
How much work, how did your work scene change?
It killed me. I was making a real good living in L.A. at the time, and you know, doing albums, doing a lot of demo projects, you know, like for big publishing houses. Then all of a sudden, it was those who was it? Hall & Oates had that hit with the drum machine, and all of a sudden, everybody had a drum machine, and nobody was hiring drummers anymore, you know. And it's funny now. I work with a couple of people now who say, oh yeah, we're going to go in, we're going to track a live date, we're going to have a rhythm section, you know, like it's some new deal, you know.
Well, you know, there's always change. You know, when Sousa's band was around, it was a very popular band. It was like pop music, and the same with Strauss. You know, the Blue Danube. I mean, they were a dance band. They were a hit band. Right. We don't go back and do that. You know.
But
it's more recent.
That's right. What I was going to say, where I was leading with that whole thing, is that I had decided when I actually saw what was occurring, and I was kind of flashing back to those conversations I had when I was a young pup, to, you know, all those old-time musicians that talk about, well, you know, these young whippersnappers, you know, they can't, you know, and they'd made themselves obsolete, and I decided I didn't want to do that. That I, you know, in order not to be the adverse effect of technology, I had to learn technology.
You know, I don't own a computer. I don't have a PC at home, but would like to. You know, yeah, I think that it's important to keep up on that because it's, you know, the language of music and how it's done is being rewritten all the time. And if you want to make your living in that, then you need to be conversant.
the technology thing is great, but I mean the reason I started playing drums was to be a drummer, not to be a programmer or to,
Right.
you know. So that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy hitting, not hitting things with sticks, but you know, I mean I'd rather be playing a live kit than pads in that. It just doesn't. It's not the same.
You know, one thing about that music is medicine. It's kind of a healing thing. And I'm sure everyone has felt the same thing. I've been very sick, right, and having to confront going to a gig, and I don't want to do it. It's the last thing I want to do, and And by the time I get there and pull myself up out of bed, get dressed, and get all my equipment there, and I'm miserable. By the time I run through a half a set, 9 times out of 10 I forget that I'm sick, And it's something that is really remarkable, and I think it has to do with the, kind of the creative impulse, and I've sometimes belabored over the fact that they misnamed the word play for music because it's actually work. But I think there is something that is true about that, because there is a sense of play and a sense of creativity. And I think when it comes to what I love to do, which is improvisation, it's just a total creative kind of spontaneous thing. So it is in the spirit of play.